this for a very long time. Now, are you listening to me? Because you're looking at the screen.
It's Brian Kilmeade.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. It's the Brian Kilmeade Show, 1-866-408-7669. It's going to be a big hour coming your way. We got Chris Sununu, the governor from New Hampshire. A lot of people think it's going to be a presidential candidate. I know one thing, one of the best interviews you can have, who really let you know what he's really thinking when it comes to this election, and Mark Thiessen at the bottom of the hour. So we come to you from 48th and 6th in Midtown Manhattan, and it is one of the most compelling races in the country. I'm talking about the governor's race, but one of the biggest surprises could be brewing in New Hampshire, as Don Baldock, a guy that's been in Afghanistan 12 separate tours, has just been outworking everyone in the country, but especially Maggie Hassan over the sitting senator in New Hampshire. Will it result in victory? Man, he's within a razor's edge right now. So let's get to the big three.
Now, with the stories you need to know, it's Brian's Big Three.
Number 3.
There are two Elons that we're seeing. There's the public Elon that's, trolling and saying $8 please on all the complaints about some of the shifts in the moderation and other activities. Then there's what's happening behind the scenes.
Elon Musk, it's been a crazy Twitter takeover for him. He's been bold, but it's been a bumpy ride. From hiring to billing to new rules, changes are afoot. Is Twitter still good? I for now, am all in.
Number 2.
Everybody, I promise you, in the very next, very, very, very short period of time, you're going to be so happy, okay?
The president thinks all Republicans want him to run in 2024. Somebody else says they will not run, and it's a major name. But one of those people has not committed either way, Ron DeSantis. But the president's taken aim at him.
Number 1.
The conduct of the candidates and the quality of their individual messages and their individual campaigning can oftentimes make a big difference one way or the other. And I'm looking for the surprises on Tuesday night.
24 hours and counting until the midterm madness ends and the counting begins. We look at the issues that matter most and anything else that comes up in terms of what party is tackling the issues that matter most, because a lot of people are breaking from their party. In the Democrats' case, because they're not even admitting what the problem is. Crime is a huge issue. Inflation is an overwhelming problem. The economy and energy is affecting everyone. Even if you can afford it, you notice it. And you don't become successful by just throwing money out the window. So for those people who don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, it doesn't mean they didn't at one time, and don't have a lot of people in their lives that do feel it. With me right now is a very busy guy, Governor Chris Sununu. Governor, always great to talk to you.
Brian, it is a thrill. We are a day away from the big election, and as you know, in New Hampshire, politics is like our fifth professional sport. As much as we love the New England Patriots, we also love Election Day, so it's going to be pretty exciting either way.
You hold your place as the first presidential primary too, right?
You bet we do. On the Republican side, we do. The Democrats seem to want to take that away, but look, in New Hampshire, you don't need money, you don't need name ID, you just got to be yourself. To be elected. Don Baldock's actually a great example of that. We'll get to Don, but no, that's kind of why we have the first in the nation, because it's a different way of doing it, and it's the right way. It's very retail politics, and anybody has the opportunity to earn the win. And
you mentioned to me that day that we spent together in 2019. I think it was 2019 or 2018. Which might have been 2020, the 2020 election, that you said, Brian, it's not rare in New Hampshire. Everybody serves in something, in the state house for a couple of years, and they go and they do it, and they're in and they're out. It's very commonplace for people to serve.
Oh, without a doubt. Look, the vast majority of our government is local, right? It's our town meeting, the power of our town meeting, because that's what the vast majority, the little bit of taxes that we have, is at the localized level. So everyone participates on the planning board, on the zoning board, on the school board, 400 members of the House of Representatives. It's a volunteer legislature, essentially. They get paid $100 a year. So no one's doing it, for the glory. They're doing it because they really just want to benefit their state. So you have a lot of turnover. So everyone participates in the process, which is why voter turnout is so high, and why, if you will, the acumen of our voter base is also so high. People are smart. They pay attention to the issues. You can't get away with things. They really hold you to a sense of accountability, and you have to live up to it. And if not, you're going to be fired. And that's okay. If you're not doing your job, you should be fired, right?
What does it tell you, with all years of experience with you and your family, that the President of the United States, the sitting president, 2 years in, is spending the day before the election in Maryland with a gubernatorial candidate, Wes Moore, that's up by 25 points?
Look, at first I didn't understand what was going on with Joe Biden in terms of, but now I realize, look, the Democrat elite liberals of Washington, they have no respect for Joe Biden. They're basically using him like some bizarre political tool. I almost feel bad for the guy. I really do. But if not for his terrible policy. But they don't respect him. He's not going to be running in 24. They just keep pushing him out there as the political head of their party as opposed to the president of the United States. And it's going to keep everything really wide open. So there's a lot of folks out there that just don't want to be seen with him at this point because you're not going after your base. You're going after those independent votes. And so, yeah, just send them off to Maryland where it's going to be a big Democrat win and keep them out of all these races that are likely to be a little tighter. That doesn't speak too well of your party, your presidency, or the confidence you have in the policies that this Democrat Party out of Washington has driven.
And whatever you think of President Trump, you can't say he's not consequential. He's spending today in Ohio. He spent over the weekend in Pennsylvania, and he was also in Florida, and he also played a key role. He stayed away with the Youngkin race, but he did endorse Governor Youngkin, and Youngkin didn't say, I don't want your endorsement like Joe O'Dea basically did. So here's one thing he did say over the weekend that stood out with me.
We have the best poll numbers. Where are they? Are they putting them up in the street? We're winning big, big, big in the Republican Party for the nomination like nobody's ever seen before. Let's see, there it is, Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%.
So here we go. So the president says, I'm running in a week. And by the way, Ron DeSantis, probably one of the most successful governors outside present company. Well, one of, I couched it well. One of the most successful governors in the country. And I think Democrats realize it too. So what do you think he's doing there?
Look, you don't tout big poll numbers if you're not concerned. I got to tell you, if Trump were to announce that he's running for president, first, no one's going to be surprised by it, right? He's taken that away. The one thing I can tell you about America after this election is done on Tuesday is everyone's going to be thrilled that the election is done, right? People want to spend time in Thanksgiving and Christmas in their families. They want to take a break from politics for a couple months. It's actually the worst possible time to announce that you're running for president. No one's going to care. And so that in itself is bizarre. I think no matter what happens, whether the former president runs or not, you're still going to get a dozen people in the street. He's not keeping anybody out of the race. There's no question about that in my mind. And so it's still going to be a wide open race. There's a lot of time and a lot of things are going to change between now and next year. So that's kind of it. People say, oh, he might announce it. My thought is, okay. That's not really news to anybody. I think everyone's focusing on closing the deal. By the way, if we don't close the deal tomorrow, then none of this matters, right? So let's focus on what's ahead of us, close the deal, let's take a breath, let's let the dust settle a little bit, and then in early 23, we'll all get back to figuring out what's going to happen nationally with the presidential race and other important races around the country. It's not just going to be about the presidential. It's going to be, can we hold the Senate? Can we, build on the wins in the U.S. House of Representatives? And most importantly, do we have the leadership to move us forward instead of constantly looking backwards? And I think that's where Kevin McCarthy and if it is McConnell as the head of the Senate, those individuals have to know we need to be moving forward. It's exactly what the country is demanding of us. So.
I mean, there's certain things you do want to investigate. I get it, but the last thing I want is another impeachment. I don't want to spend the whole time, and there's only so much you can do, as you know, Governor. There's only so much you can do when you don't have the White House, but you can use the leverage of nominations. Say, hey, you want X, Y, and Z confirmed? You want these judges out there? I'm going to need a wall built. We paid for it already. It's just rusting in the desert. I'm 87,000 IRS agents. I'm not really too thrilled with that. You better cut that number back, and I'll give you this. I mean, we used to do stuff like this.
That's exactly right. You got to get results, and that doesn't mean it's all of us or nothing, because you don't have the White House. You got to give a little to get a lot. You got to line your priorities up. Listen to what the Democrats are looking for. Give them a little, take a little. Give them a little, take a little. Cut the deal. Show that you can move the ball down the field. Right? And if you can't do that, if America says Republicans, we're giving you leadership in the House and Senate, but you're not able to move the ball down the field, then we're not going to be successful in 24. And that's, again, where McCarthy and McConnell have to move forward. Forget about the 2020 stuff. Like, as you said, we cannot, America doesn't want us to be in an endless game of revenge, So we have that responsibility now, and I feel confident we can live up to it.
So this just came across. Don't blame yourself if you didn't know it. Elon Musk just tweeted this out. to independent-minded voters.